bring you our best knowledge on circulating topics in the sports world. I am Alex Tomey.
I am Brady Dorn.
I am Mr. Olhoff.
And I'm Mr. Hoffmeister.
I am Tyler Petrie.
And I'm Tyler McCoy.
We're back. And this year is going to be a lot better, I think. Let's just get into it. First of all, we are in the midst of a World Series between the Houston Astros and the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Really?
Yeah, and Game 7 is tonight, so that's pretty exciting. Who do y'all think is going to win it all? Cheeks, you can start.
Well, why do I get to start? But all right.
Wrong.
I really am hoping the Astros win this thing because I am sick of hearing LA or New York just winning everything.
What are you saying?
The big markets, you know. Houston's not that big. I mean, they're still up there.
I mean, it's
but
bigger than Dallas.
that's not. No.
Houston is a pretty
Houston's
big market.
bigger than Dallas.
Houston is
I will
a
bet
pretty
on
big
that.
market.
Pretty sure
Bet.
Houston's bigger than Dallas.
But what about you over there, McCoy?
Dodgers baseball.
I would second that. I think the Dodgers close it out tonight. Yasiel Puig hits for the cycle.
That's a bold call.
Predicted by Alex Tomey, and I am seconding that.
You said that. Okay, you see, I think the Dodgers are going to win, but I want in my heart the Astros to win because it's more of a feel-good story. Them coming off a horrific natural disaster and just coming in and winning the World Series for the fans.
Ooh, I would be going the same route. I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight. Pardon, Michael Vick fans.
I'm a fan.
But I would go on the same route. Like, the head is telling me Dodgers, but my heart is going to be going with Houston on this one. There's going to be a rain delay in the 9th. It'll change everything, and the Houston Astros will win.
I have a question for you guys. Between the starting and pitching, who's the better pitcher tonight?
Darvish.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I would assume Kershaw's going for LA.
Nope.
They have Darvish.
Darvish.
Kershaw will make an appearance.
Kershaw got lit up in Game 5.
I bet you Kershaw pitches.
Do y'all remember Game 5 when Kershaw let in like 6 runs?
That was the greatest game in World Series history.
Yeah, it was a Game 5 though. So.
I remember.
I think
I
Dodgers
remember.
win 7-4. Dodgers win 7-4, possibly a late home run.
Oh wow.
19-18 Astros baseball.
Okay.
I say 4-3 in 10 innings.
What is the likelihood that every run scored is going to be a home run in Game 7? Probably very likely.
1 in 7.
Yeah, probably all the way. Well, let's move into
Houston Astros are 15th biggest.
a nice
market in
reflection on our hometown kids, the Milwaukee Brewers, and their solid season this year.
Surprisingly solid season.
Right, like I didn't expect them to be this good already, but they are. And
Well, they
your
got a
guys'
new
thoughts
hero.
on it,
They got a
Hoffy?
new hero to step up for him.
I think obviously the Brewers are in a rebuilding mode, but to have a winning season this year, how many games did they get? 86, I think it was.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
86.
So if you had told me beginning of the season 86 wins, I'd have been surprised. I probably would have told you you're full of it. Kind of
Right.
like when Cheeks was saying 95, I think, right?
No, it was close enough. I did say Eric Thames is going to go off.
Yeah, if you would have said that Eric Thames from Korea is going to come back and light up the world.
Pleasantly surprised. I think they got to get a little bit more consistent with their hitting, though.
Starting pitching. We need an ace.
Yeah, I would agree with that, too.
Should have kept CC Sabathia,
Couldn't pay him enough.
Yeah, he wanted like $1 billion per year.
which is why he went to the Yankees.
Yeah.
True. I mean, at least for me anyway, agreed. Just surprised. But for me, it's looking just back a couple years ago. I know at least this year we kind of righted the ship after the All-Star break where we kind of fell apart and we didn't, do a full-on collapse that we were still in it compared to a couple years ago where we were a surprise team and then we got into August and September and we just
Didn't make the playoffs.
Didn't make the playoffs. I mean, if you looked at the odds, we were 80% plus making and completely whiffed. For me, I think it just seeing at the end of the year, being able to get those runs during those close games in those critical situations will be important. I still think the closing situation, it's gotten better, but that still has a ways to go. And that's kind of been, I think, a running theme in the last 5 to 6 years with the Brewers, just kind of needing a solid closer or set of closers to be able to get the W. So, I'm cautiously optimistic compared to the other team in Milwaukee. I feel at least better for what the Brewers can do and that they can carry this over. I think this is a younger team. The team a few years ago still had a little bit more in terms of veterans. These are all homegrown guys. I think they can build off of this next year. Having those experiences playing against the Cubs, these teams that are top-notch, LA, and winning out there when they weren't losing at all in LA. Build off of that for next year and be in the thick of things. And Brian Anderson will be handing the NLCS trophy to the Brewers.
Just compliment the Cubs. Get him out of here.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I would say
No.
that
Sorry.
kind of just goes, that's why you play the games, you never know exactly what's going to happen. I didn't think the Brewers were going to be that solid of a team, and then there's times when you think they were going to be solid, and then they end up not being solid.
Right.
That's why you play the games.
Yep. Well, that's all we had for MLB, I think, unless somebody wants to interject. Let's just go to NFL, where...
Wait a minute.
All right. You could have just
Any-
done that.
any-
and I
You should have interjected.
Any free agents do you think the Brewers will go for this year? Anybody they should go for in certain.
Not really sure.
Yu
with
Darvish.
free agents.
You.
there.
Pitching solved,
No,
Yu
no.
Darvish.
What are your guys'
Justin
thoughts
Verlander.
on Gurriel of the Astros and what he did in Game 3? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Lucky.
Yeah, probably.
No, I don't know.
No,
what
he's
you're talking
suspended for 5 games
Just
next
explain
year.
to the audience what
about.
happened.
Yeah, I
I
actually
know.
did. miss
Oh, yeah.
He made a racist gesture at Yu Darvish after he had a home
Really?
run off of him, and he got suspended 5 games for it. Mr. Olaf looks pretty intrigued over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've heard about just within the last couple days in terms of, okay, you kick the can for the punishment until the start of next year, where, if I feel you would probably see a lot of people on the socials saying that punishment should be done, during this series, where it just seems like it's a little slap on the wrist, but, it's bad, but it's not so bad that, we're going to take you out of the World Series. We're just going to kick the can and let the public forget about it. And then, you'll maybe get brought up when the season starts again, but it'll probably be not having a lot of traction or a lot of noise. Where if you have that suspension now during the series, you're going to have top people not only in ESPN, but all the cable news networks, et cetera, social media, talking about this going on. And, okay, if that suspension was heading down to during series, what's the message? How do people interpret that? And that could be kind of a storm that I don't think the MLB wants to do. So it's like, okay, you'll be suspended, but we'll kick it down the line when people aren't going to remember this in a few months and go on.
Remember
It's
in,
what's best for business.
in the finals, the year the Cavs won, when Draymond got suspended? Wasn't he suspended for Game 5 of the finals?
Yep.
For the Warriors, dude.
Yeah.
That's the team he plays for.
No, that's not what I was saying at all.
Yeah, Draymond got suspended, and then there was a lot of, what ifs. What if he would have played that game? Would it have been different? Would they have won the series?
They would have won the series.
Mm-hmm.
That series was rigged.
Hey, but...
So it gets into that point, too.
That series was rigged. That should not have won 7 games.
No, that was the 2001 Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, that was the Bucks.
More rigged.
That's the most rigged series ever.
Yeah.
And what
Just 'cause they
about
didn't want a small
what about
market
Kings
team.
Lakers and what was it?
Oh, we're getting off
0-2?
topic here.
Yeah, 0-2.
0-2,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
that was
just
pretty brutal.
they rig everything. The Bucks and the Kings both should have won those series.
Small market.
That was
Yep.
definitely in the era when you had the, right before probably 4 or 5 years before the whole scandal about those couple refs that had
Right.
What was the name of that ref?
betting scandals going on in the
Steve.
scores.
It was like
No one does research, I don't know. There's one guy.
Yeah,
The
I heard
research
about
team
him.
will figure it out for us sometime, maybe next week.
They'll never bring it up again, and then we'll just forget about it and move
Yeah.
on.
Hey, it's like whoa, the point comes back around.
Tim Donaghy.
All right.
There we go.
That was
Tim
the
Donaghy,
one.
yeah, I
Yep,
forgot.
that's
Okay.
the ref.
Yep,
right
there you go.
So
That was the one.
tomorrow is the first game of Week 9, I think, of the
Yep.
NFL season. What teams or players have you been the most surprised by so far?
Rams football.
Really?
They are good.
What are the Rams doing right now that you like so much?
They're shocking the nation, literally.
Right. Okay.
Projections had them like literally winning 5 games, if I'm correct. And Jared Goff is a stud.
Right.
All right. The Eagles are actually pretty surprising, I would
That's
say.
true.
I would say Kareem Hunt has had a surprising season.
Yeah,
I would
that's fair.
say the
That's fair.
Raiders are definitely a disappointment so far.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What's going on with the Raiders?
Yeah,
You know,
literally.
weren't they predicted to like win their conference like
They're
outright?
predicted to like win like the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I would say they had pretty high odds to go to the Super Bowl.
Ah, something like that.
I think they were overrated to start, though.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's probably Jared Cook.
Yeah.
He's the reason why
You think
nobody
about it,
does
they're
it.
in last place in their division.
What about you over there, Mr. Olaf? You look intrigued again in this argument.
Well, I would say probably one of the more disappointing teams would be Tampa Bay.
Oh, fair.
Not to mention that I have Jameis on the fantasy team, and he's not doing so well, but they added some new weapons at least to help him out, and they are last in the division in a race that's kind of wide open right now. I would say maybe an outside one that's surprising in a good way would be the Saints. So, I mean, I was at the Packer game, a little plug, the last one, at least against the Saints. And they're kind of going into a formula of what they had in 2009, where they have a good 1-2 punch with you have Ingram, and then I forgot who number 41 is. I think he's a rookie that they drafted this year, who's got excellent speed. And their defense is really solid across the board.
They have
so,
a good set of D linemen.
they turned the corner. I think they had a game in London. I forgot who they played. But, it was starting off the season like, just kind of another season of disappointment for Drew Brees. He's going to get all these yards. The offense will do all right. But then the defense is just not going to give them anything whatsoever. But that London game where they got a bunch of sacks, get the win, and they've come back and they've played really well. So that would be another team I would say would be a nice surprise.
The one team.
I would say the Giants are a surprise,
Yeah,
actually.
Yep.
I was the Giants.
I was going to say that, but two people that already went said it. So
I'm kind of disappointed in all the injuries that are happening this year.
Odell
That is a
Beckham,
lot.
that is a huge
yeah, like
injury. That's
okay,
a huge
Giants
injury.
came in the year. They're thinking, oh man, we got Odell, we got Brandon Marshall out of free agency,
Right.
we got a nice young pass
Their
rush.
defense is
An
solid,
old
yeah.
pass rush,
They
but
had a solid
young
defense.
secondary.
Right.
They're like, oh, we're probably gonna win like 16 games this season and win it all because we're New York. And then they started 0-5.
I was thinking when coming into the season, I was like 8-9 games. They could definitely win 8-9 games.
That's yeah.
And now they already almost have that many losses already.
Yeah, they're pretty trash.
As a Dolphins fan, I can't stand the Jets, but I didn't think they'd win 3 games all year.
That's fair.
And they have 3 in the first half, so they're not going to win the division. They're probably not going to make the playoffs.
That's
3-5 is
fair.
respectful for where they thought that team would
Well,
be.
the Jets are so bad that they're bad at tanking to get a quarterback.
Well,
That's just
you
where
know,
they are right
The
now.
Dolphins are going to give them a run for their money by trading Ajay, but
Yeah,
I think
how
the
does
Dolphins
that
are
even
winning.
happen?
Hey, you can't give the Jets that much grief. They're not even doing that bad.
Yeah, but they should be doing bad.
They are 3-5.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, that's pretty
The
bad.
49ers at 0-8, I guess.
And
Well,
That's not
That
necessarily
is a team that
surprise,
has
but-
dropped off.
okay,
the
From winning the
49ers.
Super Bowl to not winning a game so far this season.
hey, let's
I think that's. Oh, never mind.
Hold
let's,
on, hold
let's
on.
move into that. Who do you think is going to win a game first? San Francisco or Cleveland?
Cleveland.
Do they play each other?
No, they don't.
San Francisco.
They'd probably tie.
Because now, never mind. I can't get
Oh,
into that yet.
oh.
Nope, can't.
Wow.
I would say that just before the next transition, but I would say what they have done this year. The last couple weeks have been rough against Dallas, and then I forgot who they played this past week. But up until that point, the 49ers were close in their games. Okay. But they were close in their games, that they had a lot of single-digit losses, except for the
Right.
last couple weeks. So they were on the brink of victory, and I think they'll be able to get the win first before Cleveland does at this
Wow.
point.
Cleveland's following the pattern of the 0-16 Detroit Lions. They went undefeated in the preseason this year, 4-0, and
nice.
now haven't won a game. But they do have a game against the Chicago Bears. That could be a win.
That could
Bears
be a
are
win.
decent. I mean, not
McCoy,
great,
how do you feel
but
about that?
I could potentially see them beating Green Bay too if Green Bay doesn't have their.
They do
pieces
play the
together.
Giants too.
That'd be depressing.
It would be depressing, but
San
Unfortunately.
Fran will win their first game against the Cowboys.
They play three
Okay.
teams with a losing record.
So I
yet.
think the biggest contributor to the 49ers winning a game would be Garoppolo, the trade for Garoppolo.
Coach says he might not play a game this season.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think the Patriots pulled the trigger on this trade when they could have got a better offer earlier? Or there was talks of a better offer from earlier?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was just interesting too, seeing the move Cleveland tried to make yesterday and ultimately failed.
Yeah, that'll
You know,
happen.
That just confuses me because Jimmy Garoppolo is a younger quarterback,
I think
and Tom Brady is getting, like, I know he says he wants to play a couple more seasons, but they kind of basically just said, we're investing in Tom Brady here.
Yeah, I just read this on ESPN, but the Patriots only have one quarterback right now on both the practice squad and their roster, and it's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Currently, their backup quarterback is Julian Edelman, and he's on injury reserve. So
That is a false statement.
okay,
The
who's
New
his backup
England
quarterback?
Patriots
Really?
signed about 2 hours ago Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, Brian Hoyer.
Really?
Yeah.
Brian Hoyer.
Plot twist, as I just shown Dorn here. Ian Rappaport said the Packers tried to steal Brian Hoyer, but Hoyer ended back in New England where he wanted to be. So
That's because Hoyer wants a ring.
Speaking of that,
He's not going to get one in Green Bay.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, how do you feel about the Packers season?
I was just going to ask how you feel about the quarterback play since Aaron Rodgers went
Well,
down.
that's kind of we'll get into that.
Right. Basically,
Like the season, do you think
Packers?
the season's over, or do you think there's a lot to salvage yet?
Well, what do they think? Aaron Rodgers will be back this season yet?
He'll be back in like 6 to 7 weeks probably.
So if they could get a wild card,
a lot of that depends probably on what position they're in, if they're actually going to rush him back or not. If they're still in contention, absolutely, I think that he'll be back. But I don't know. I think Hundley can do some things. He just having the bye week will be huge, I think. Hopefully he'll. We always hear about opening up the playbook, but that's not as easy as it sounds, I don't think. So hopefully, gradually, he'll be able to open things up as far as what he's able to do. But obviously, he's a backup for a reason, and there's quite a difference between him and Rodgers. So is it a total loss right now? No, but they better get it going because Minnesota's running away with the division.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's well within sight. I mean, we're still right there in the thick of things right behind Minnesota. They're a solid team, but I don't see them running away, Minnesota, anyway. It can be like it was 4 years ago, where nobody ran away with it. We were able to kind of dig and claw, and then, when it came time, at least week 17, that A-Rod came back and got that sweet victory against the Bears for the division. So I think it's there. The schedule on paper is manageable enough where we should be able to get wins. For me, it's more about really the defense stepping up. They did a really nice job in the first half against the Saints, I thought, for what it's worth. They intercepted Breeze a couple times. They got a sack or two on him, and, looked like they were in sync. It was the best I had seen Devon House play all year, and it looked like they were going to be able to turn a corner, and then just the second half, everything fell apart for them. Where it got to then the end, where they almost gave up 500 yards of total offense against the Saints. The score might not have reflected that with them only getting 26 points, but they were just able to kind of move the ball at will. So it's, I think, more on the defense. Hopefully Capers can simplify things. His system, he's trying to make it complicated, adding these different blitzes. And there's been way too many times this year where we've had to call timeouts because we don't have the right personnel in, or there's 10 guys on the field. That happened in the Saints game. Where we had 10 guys, they went for a big run. I think maybe that touchdown to start the second half. And then the Cowboys, they got a big run because we had 10 guys in the field because we were being too complicated. So the Patriots did that with their defense, where everyone was concerned, like, oh, they're giving up these yards and giving up all these points. They lost to the Panthers at home. And what they talked about that Sunday night game against Atlanta, where they went kind of back to the drawing board, simplify the defense, just everybody have their main responsibilities, don't go, outside the means. And they shut down, the supposedly explosive Atlanta offense. They did well last week as well, and it seems like they've turned the corner. So hopefully the Packers can do that. Morgan Burnett gets back this week. He's the captain of the D. He's the one making the calls. There was a play in the Saints game where everybody was looking at Clay Matthews trying to figure out where they're supposed to go, and a second later they snap, they get a big run. So getting him back will help. And like Hoffy said, I don't think we'll open up the playbook. I think people are going to expect just all of a sudden this week he'll be just passing it up all over the place. I think just finding ways to get the little read option, but understanding that, get to your main targets with Devontae and Jordy, but also just getting the fact that, Aaron Jones is your offense right now. Run the ball with him, but there's definitely screen plays, other options as well for him to kind of run the offense around him for now. So I think there's a chance.
Fair. That's fair.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Well,
well-educated.
Hoffy, as a Dolphins fan, just really let your emotions loose on this trade. What are your thoughts?
Are they tanking?
It certainly seems like it. I don't understand this one at all. Great trade for Philadelphia. I think that makes them probably the favorite in the NFC, or one of the favorites. Dolphins they were hanging on. They have 4 wins. I'm not sure how. But Jay Ajayi was about the only offense that they had left. So it certainly seems like they're tanking. Maybe they have somebody in mind in the draft that they think they can get. Cutler going down. Cutler is obviously not not a stud, but he was doing okay. Matt Moore is a game manager at best. They're in a world of hurt. They might end up losing the rest of the season. They've played the Jets twice already, so.
They need Kaepernick.
Kaepernick.
Oh.
It'll be interesting, Philadelphia's backfield, how they'll work that out with Blunt and Ajayi.
2 solid running backs.
I'd give the start to Ajayi, but I'd definitely give Blunt a lot of touches because he's been doing pretty good the last couple of games.
Powerful running back.
I'm glad about that trade because I'm facing LeGarrette Blunt, so his touches are going down in fantasy.
Also, the Eagles have hometown hero Corey Clement on their roster, and he's got a couple touchdowns.
I thought he was going to get traded at the deadline, too.
No, dude, he's a stud.
All right.
But,
Carson Wentz.
yeah, Carson Wentz is having a really good season.
Hey, yeah.
That's surprising.
I
think he's favored for MVP.
We'll
do that right now.
having an
We'll do that right
Speaking
now.
of that, MVP predictions.
Okay, are we doing the prediction board this year?
I mean,
Might as well, right? Might as well.
all right.
Okay, Chase,
Go
right
on
down.
there.
Okay, McCoy, do it, because McCoy's not talking today anyways.
He's got.
Let's start with Mr. Hoffmeister because he's in a. Yeah, MVP.
MVP. Shoot. I
Okay.
haven't really thought about this. I would say, maybe an outside pick. Maybe go with Kareem Hunt.
Really?
I have no idea. He's been MVP for my fantasy football team. I know that much. So we'll go with it. Or Leonard Fournette.
Oh, rookies. Wow.
Fournette is having a very good season.
Mm-hmm.
When I've watched his games, he's ran the ball very well.
MVP, definitely gonna have to say Mr. Carson Wentz from Philadelphia.
I think I'm gonna go with I'm gonna say Tom Brady.
He does lead the league in passing yards as a what is he, 40-year-old
Like
man?
95.
Yeah, as a 112-year-old man, he's leading the league in passing yards, which is pretty surprising.
He has played more NFL seasons than I am alive.
Mr. McCoy, I want to write down your own, and I'll communicate it to the public. Mr. McCoy is
His
going with
seasons played is higher than my math grade.
Really?
That's right.
Well, he's wrong.
I'm going to have to go with him on that one, too.
No way.
Serious, I'm going to have to go with him. No interceptions through 184
Well, when you're
passes.
throwing the ball 37 inches and just letting your receivers do the rest.
Oh my God.
Nice check down pass.
That's fair. That's
Alex
fair.
Smith versus Aaron Rodgers. Who wins?
Alex Smith.
Aaron Rodgers, hands down.
Right now it'd be Alex Smith.
No, Alex Smith isn't even a good quarterback. What is your argument?
He's an MVP
Olaf.
right now.
MVP.
No, he's not an MVP.
Why you not? Why not? Tell me right
How
now.
is he an MVP?
How is he MVP?
Let Olaf talk, Mr.
Alright,
Cheeks.
alright, sorry.
Same pick as last year, Jeff Janis. No, I'm just kidding. Carson Wentz, the things that he's done this year, if it was Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, we'd be talking about those guys MVP, no question. So as long as he keeps doing what he's got and he added nice little spice for his offense, I think he's got it. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's a quarterback-driven league. This award has been quarterback-driven. I think if you're wanting to help the brand, you want some nice new talent to kind of get people behind, Carson Wentz would be the guy to go.
All right.
I would say Ajayi could actually help his passing numbers too.
Just one more thing for the NFL right now. Just everybody, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Predictions. Eagles. Mine's the Eagles.
Boy. Who's gonna win the Super Bowl?
Okay, go on.
Kansas
Real quick, fire it
City
off.
football.
I think.
Minnesota Vikings on the drought.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Bring it to the land.
Mr. Olaf, you better not say the Green Bay Packers, or else I will come over there.
Green Bay Packers.
Oh, fair.
They come back, win the division. Ron is back. We run the table. It's done.
He was never hurt. He was just resting.
Vikings
For the playoffs.
football.
I think they are more beatable this year than they have been in a long time. New England Patriots.
Oh, if the Patriots win, do you think Belichick and Brady retire this year?
No, not a
Or
chance.
do they go for another ring after they already got 2 rings in a row?
Tom Brady's greedy. He's coming back.
I think he would come back.
Got to fill up the other hand after you fill up the first hand.
If one goes, I think they both go.
Right.
Yeah,
But I think they both would be back.
I would agree with that.
Is that all of us? Cheeks, Chiefs? I think that's all of us.
I think
McCoy?
I'm all of us. Oh, wait, no.
McCoy's going to say the Bears, and he's going to be wrong.
No way.
It certainly won't be the Dolphins, I can tell you that much.
Believe me.
Who's your pick, Mr.
Fabulous.
McCoy?
No way.
Hey, no, but the Seahawks added some nice pieces on defense.
They have
And
no
they got-
line.
They added the O-lineman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they made
did
some
really
nice
good.
moves.
Helped anchor their
All right,
O-line.
we're going to
That
take
was
a
a
quick
good
break,
trade
go
for
to
them.
commercial, and we'll see you in a little bit. We're back. We are back. We are most certainly back.
Yes.
But you know who's not back? Hoffy. Because Brendan, usually our behind the stage, behind the bright lights guy, is here talking with us.
What's up?
Behind the scenes.
How do you feel about the MVP? NFL MVP.
What is your pick?
I don't have a pick. I'm not a big.
All right, he doesn't have a pick.
I'm out of this
Moving on.
entire
We're
thing.
moving on.
Let's go to the
we're moving
NBA.
on. We're done with
Alright,
this.
NBA does. NBA.
I don't
We're
have an
fine.
opinion for NFL here.
The National Basketball Association.
Yep.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is off to a very, very hot start.
He is on my
He
fantasy
is.
team.
He honestly is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
But what happened last night against the
Yeah.
OK3,
I'll start us here, alright?
He had a decent game.
Alright.
the Bucks?
Compared to the rest of the team.
Oh, I guess I didn't transition.
It's
Yeah,
cold
Giannis
out.
had a good game. It's just the rest of the team.
It's cold out. It was Halloween. They just cannot shoot the ball at all.
They
I'm confused on how
Did they
it's
shoot
cold
below
outside has
40% in the
anything to
game?
do with
the
an
temperature
inside
doesn't have
game.
to do with it.
It's an
They
inside
play
game.
indoor.
But the Bucks need to go get Eric
Sponsored by
Bledsoe.
Dasani.
They need to go get it.
Who do they give up to get Eric Bledsoe,
let's
though?
just do this.
Because you don't give up Malcolm Brogdon.
Do you give up Malcolm Brogdon?
No, you don't give up
you
Malcolm
don't.
Brogdon,
You
and you
don't.
don't give up Jabari. You definitely don't give up your pick from this year.
I give up Jabari.
Really?
Well, we almost gave
The Suns
Jabari
were- the-
for, we almost gave Jabari for Damian Lillard last year before the deadline.
Yeah, but will the Suns take an injury-prone Jabari?
Will we take a above average?
You can't say anything,
Bledsoe?
Cheeks. There's nothing to say that's true.
I mean,
Bledsoe's not an elite point guard. He's above average, but he's not elite.
if the Bucks can get the
Malcolm
right
Brogdon
trade.
has the potential.
No,
to
you
become
don't give
elite.
up Malcolm Brogdon, but if you can get the right trade, you take Eric Bledsoe.
Yes.
But you don't give up any of your
Yeah,
young
You cannot
pieces.
get rid of the rookie of the
Okay,
year.
You don't give up
here's-
Thonmaker either. Thonmaker is going to be good.
Here's the perfect trade. Okay.
Cash.
Devin Booker and Eric Bledsoe for Mirza, John Henson, and a first-round pick. They'd accept that, right?
Okay, I say if you take away Devin Booker,
Would they take John Henson and Mirza and a first-round pick for Eric Bledsoe?
I think they would.
Would the Bucks want that?
A first-round pick. though?
Okay, we're paying John Henson $11 million a year, and we're paying Mirza $13 million a year, something like that.
Well, think about this. It adds.
We could get Bledsoe, and then
It'll add an
sign-
inside presence for the Suns, and
Right.
add another shooter for their team.
and it'll add a good player for us.
And
which
I would
is what we
say,
need.
the Suns would take a first-round draft pick in next year's draft.
Yeah, that's fair. But our pick is gonna be like.
Well, all right, we're going to the finals.
It's gonna be
so-
like 25 or like 27 or like
Like
30.
30.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
30,
30.
so it's probably not gonna be worth that much. It's basically a second round pick. Well, the NBA had a crazy off season that we missed
Oh,
because
God.
of.
I would say this.
It sucked. It actually sucked.
One for the ages.
Oh, it did it, Brendan.
Yeah, it did.
Hey,
It sucked.
My OKC Thunder became more
our resident Celtic fan is
Yep,
here.
that's me.
As Brendan. How do you feel about
The trade that happened?
acquiring Gordon Hayward?
Gordon
first of
Ankles
all,
Hayward.
How do you feel about Gordon Hayward?
Okay, if he wouldn't have dislocated his ankle the first 5 minutes of him
First
playing,
Hayward.
I feel like the team would be pretty good, but
Okay.
he will actually be back this
there's
season.
there's nothing you could have done about that. Like you can never see
well,
an injury coming.
we know that.
But
I mean,
But something you could have avoided was trading
Isaiah Thomas,
and
yeah.
your
Oh, I know.
entire roster for Kyrie and.
and I don't like Kyrie Irving.
I would say, I get the cap space issue, but Avery Bradley was a perfect fit for their team, and they need him. They needed to keep him.
We needed IT and
You definitely
Avery Bradley.
Kelly Olynyk was a good.
I can
presence
live with
off
the
bench
IT
for them.
trade. I can live
I
with that,
can.
but you do not give up Bradley for what is one of the Morris twins.
That's fair.
That's not a smart
but
trade.
even without Hayward, the Celtics are on a 5-game win streak.
I mean, Kyrie has been playing pretty well for the
Right.
Celtics, I would say.
Well, I think he's just worried about not being a bust for the Celtics.
Right.
You know.
Al Horford
We
is a
gotta
solid
live up
player.
to Isaiah Thomas's status, though.
All right, but
True, Isaiah
better
Thomas
ask that.
was.
let's go
He
back.
was pretty good.
He's past that already.
Let's go back
Think about what he did in the playoffs.
to.
Hurt and after losing his sister.
That's fair.
Went
And then
off.
you just trade him. You just trade him because.
Yeah, that's a low blow.
Honestly.
He said
That
he
is
would
a low
never
blow.
respect.
I mean,
Brad-
would you
Brad
respect
Stevens.
a man that did that?
No.
No, I wouldn't
God, no.
respect him.
Going back to the NBA, besides the Celtics, who do you think made the best move for their team?
Okay,
Cheeks?
Thunder.
Cheeks, what's your answer?
I'm thinking right now. Hold on.
Why is your hand up then?
Yeah, it's the Thunder.
Okay, McCoy.
By far the
McCoy,
Thunder.
explain why you think
My
the Thunder.
OKC Thunder.
All right, Doran, if it's
Just
your
how
OKC
can
Thunder.
you? Just how can it be the
Think about
Thunder?
this.
Is the real
You
question.
have the reigning MVP on your team, right?
Okay.
A triple double.
Let me just envision
Right.
it
You have the triple double machine in
Right.
Russell Westbrook.
like Oscar Robinson.
You
Right.
get Paul George.
Faster.
You get Paul George, which is arguably still one of the best two-way players in the league. And then Carmelo.
Remember when he broke his leg?
I do. But what did you really give up to get those two?
Like a bag of chips and like $30.
Right. So I would say you definitely won both of the deals you made,
Right.
and you gave up like half a shooting guard, power forward that no one's ever heard of, and then like
Mhm.
a draft pick
Mm.
that no one cares about.
Who? Okay, staying with the Thunder. Who do you
For
think should
two
start?
all-star calibers?
Robinson, or is it Robeson?
Roberson.
Roberson. Who do you think should start, Roberson or Patrick Patterson?
Patterson.
It depends upon, like, obviously Roberson is one of the best defenders at his position,
Right, but he
cannot make a free throw. It's like
I'm pretty sure I can shoot free throws better
it's
than
like
Roberson
it's
can.
like he's throwing the ball at a penny-sized hoop, because he just cannot get a free throw to go in. It's like almost impossible. I don't think I've ever seen him make a free throw.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he
now
cannot
that
shoot
you
a
say
three.
that, I don't think
He
I've
cannot
ever.
shoot a three. He does not have a three-point shot.
He's their starting shooting guard, and
Right,
shooting's in his
right.
name, and he can't do it. So
And
he's basically just a guard.
That was part of what hurt the Thunder last year, is that took away from the spacing for Westbrook to drive into the lane. Because if you think about it, you got Steven Adams down there. He's an in the lane player, you know, solid player both ways though. But
Right.
now you add Paul George and Carmelo to that. The
Mm.
lane's not going to be as. Westbrook is still almost averaging a triple double.
Yeah, well, I guess that's pretty good.
So guess who's winning the finals?
But
The Thunder.
but guess who's gonna sweep the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals? My pick for the
nobody.
biggest move is the Golden State Warriors, because they don't need to add anybody,
Right, they resigned.
because
their
they already
biggest pieces.
have everybody.
Minnesota
Okay,
Timberwolves.
They just brought everybody back.
Had
Durant
that.
came back for less
That's
money.
fair. No, yep.
They signed Nick Young. They
Right.
signed that one other guy, and they're probably not going to lose ever.
Yeah,
I mean, they already lost like 3 games, but it's fine.
The T-Wolves had a great offseason.
All right, Cheeks, get into the T-Wolves. What about the Timberwolves?
They literally got Jimmy buckets for nothing.
Okay,
Well,
they
he
signed
wanted
Jeff
out of
Teague.
Chicago. Jeff Teague
They
is a
also
good
signed
sign.
Jeff Teague, too.
Jeff Teague is an above-average
who's the
starting
forward?
point guard.
Did they get Taj Gibson, right?
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
Taj
that-
Gibson.
They got
That's a good sign.
Jamal Crawford.
That is a good
coming off
sign.
the bench.
They get rid of Chris Dunn, who hasn't showed anything yet.
Well, he was a rookie, but all right.
Levine tore his ACL.
I mean,
so
what did Rubio didn't really provide that much for the
No.
Timberwolves in this
You
day.
replace him with
Just
Jeff Teague.
passing.
Flash in the pan.
Just
Jeff,
passing.
Jeff
Right,
Teague
yeah.
is better than Rubio.
I
for
would
sure.
say that the Timberwolves, they did get better in the offseason, but they didn't get, like, OKC, Golden
Well,
State.
I
Yeah.
think their chemistry isn't there yet. They just still need to gel as a unit. But once they do that, like, I'm pretty sure there's nothing's going to be able to stop them. Like, with the potential that Cat has, he's on my fantasy team because I'm a stud. But, yeah.
Just a quick thought. A nice little under-the-radar move was Rudy Gay to the Spurs.
That's a good signing.
That's a nice addition to the Spurs roster.
Yeah, that. Even though the Spurs aren't showing it that much, because
They'll be there by the end. They're always there by the end. Of the
They don't
season.
have Kawhi.
Right, but he'll be back.
He'll be back in like next week or something.
And
like that.
he is definitely an MVP caliber player.
We will get into that.
Now it's
All right, no, go.
Okay.
I was going to
Hold
say,
on.
I agree with at least the majority pick is saying the Thunder. If you're wanting to be a team that can challenge the Warriors right now in the West, they made the right moves to be able to get to that next level. You know, they were there, but now they can at least challenge, get to the Western Conference Finals. But I would agree with you, Cheeks, in that front, at least with the Wolves, making the right moves. They've been in a similar position like the Bucks, I would say. They've had a lot of young talent that they've tried to bring in and be more than just flash in the pans, but nothing's really gelled. And we're finally, I think, seeing the Bucks turn the corner where they've got a core group that they can build around and stick with and have for years. I think the Wolves are maybe now in that same spot where it'll be a couple years, but they have a foundation now that they can trust and build off of, and in due time, challenge for the West.
This is the year the Bucks make the blockbuster trade at the deadline.
What blockbuster trade?
Who do you think? Who do you think? they're
Eric
gonna trade
Bledsoe
for?
is not a blockbuster
No,
trade.
but they're gonna make a trade. It's gonna be something.
Okay. No,
Say some names that
I
you think
don't,
the Bucks
I
should
don't
trade for.
agree with that.
Just throw some.
Hey,
Some
but
at
think
the
about
wall.
it. There are some notable free agents that will be free agents in the next summer that could be wanting to get out of their situation.
Yeah, we should just dump Cap this year, tank,
No,
get
how
a
about
draft
this?
pick, and then sign somebody to pay.
If we're talking about blockbuster trades, John Henson, Mirza Teletovic for Andre Drummond.
Dude, they'd accept that.
Why haven't we traded Greg Monroe?
Because he's
A stud
really
off
good
the
off
bench.
the bench.
I
Really
would say he is a
commonplace
solid
for
player off the bench, but I do think that we could package him in a deal that would better the team.
I don't think teams want him though because
He's kind of just in the lane.
he slows down the game.
Yeah, he's kind of just in there trying to.
That's
back
why he
us
doesn't
down.
start. Because
Well, because the NBA is moving away from that.
yeah,
The NBA is like, oh, let me get 3. Oh, check it here, check it here. We don't really need a post. I mean, the best post centers are. There's 2: Andre Drummond and Hassan Whiteside. Who else? No one. Nobody.
DeMarcus Cousins.
He can shoot the 3 though,
I
and he can handle the ball.
Thon Maker
Okay.
So
needs to
that's
take
like, that's
more
ki-
shots.
that's basically like saying Anthony Davis.
Jokic.
Jokic can also play point guard.
Yeah, okay. Whatever, dude.
Contavious Caldwell Pope to the Bucks.
Patrick Ewing could have played point guard if they really wanted to, but
No, we could not.
Bet.
He had 0 handles.
okay, fine, whatever. Okay,
That's like saying Steph Curry
How do you
can
feel
play in the
about-
post.
what? Let's get into our prediction part of the NBA
Really?
season. Cheeks, what is that eye roll for? I saw.
No, I was,
You don't like predictions, or do you want to talk about something?
We are on air, McCoy.
This is gonna be tough.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, do I pick
First.
triple double machine?
First,
Start with me.
MVP.
No, Brandon's going first.
Who do you think is going to win
A good
MVP?
shot at MVP here.
Ooh.
You know, I'm not a big Bucks fan, but you know, I respect Giannis. I respect Giannis.
I would say the biggest thing in Giannis winning MVP this year is having a jump shot.
Yeah, that's true.
I would
Yeah.
say that is the biggest
that
factor
is-
in him winning MVP this year. Because eventually, if he doesn't get a jump shot, people are just going to sit on him.
As you guys can see on the screen right now, the jersey's blocking. It's blocking Brendan's name and probably the next name.
Just rip it down, McCoy.
His pick is Giannis
Really?
Antetokounmpo.
Oh, dude, it's pretty close. Olaf?
I hate to be following trends, but I'll go with that. I'll go with Giannis as well. I think if he can keep up a pace of what he's done so far, can at least play consistently like that throughout the year, and develop that nice, beautiful jump shot.
Right.
That will be beneficial. And again, I think we've seen enough talk in a week or 2 weeks of the season where you have all this high praise coming in, where I think it's destined for him, barring an injury or barring people figuring things out. I know. But that's the reality of the situation.
All right. Dorn, MVP.
It's a toss-up for me.
Okay. Who are you tossing between?
It's Giannis or Westbrook.
Oh, that's fair.
I would say,
Very fair.
you know what?
Flip a coin. Here,
All right,
I'm going to flip this.
Let's flip
Okay, you see this side is heads?
Yep.
This side is tails. Ready?
So no, wait, which one is which?
It's Giannis, dude. It definitely landed on Giannis.
Westbrook it is.
I just flipped a roll of tape, and if you
Speaking
guys
of
didn't
that-
know, it's identical on both sides.
I would say Giannis does have a very good chance, but I just feel with the extra space that Westbrook is going to have this year, it's gonna open up everything for him.
Yeah, my MVP, because Giannis doesn't have a whole lot of help
Don.
on the roster. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Thon Maker.
Three-point maker.
No, I'm gonna go. James Harden.
No way. Overrated.
Bet.
James Harden is the most overrated
Actually, I
player.
take that back. Kemba Walker.
well, this is not even a question, but I'm gonna go with the Greek Freak, Giannis.
Yeah, I should
And
take the Greek Freak.
Dorn, I'll offer you this trade right now in fantasy basketball. Giannis for Russell Westbrook.
I'll tell you what.
Accepted.
If you throw in Jimmy Butler,
Send it.
who would you give for Jimmy Butler?
no, Jimmy Butler and Westbrook, I'll give you Giannis.
Hey, okay. Let me be a facilitator. Malcolm Brogdon and Giannis for Westbrook and Jimmy buckets.
That's not gonna happen.
Brogdon's averaging like 20 points a game.
Brogdon is my dad.
Are you kidding me?
Is he really?
Did
Uh,
you just see that?
What do you do?
DeMarcus
Okay.
Cousins, yeah, he will not have a season like he's been having the last 4 games, guaranteed.
Okay,
First off, Anthony Davis has been hurt.
okay, let's go back the
I have-
other way.
Okay,
what's
take
up,
him
what's up?
50
I have
shots a
breaking
game.
news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
This is Milwaukee Bucks related.
Breaking news. How
So-
big?
We're talking about them.
It's probably
The
not
G
that big.
League team,
The Herd.
yes, the Herd, will not be playing in Oshkosh for their first 3 home games.
Oh my God.
Because
Oh
the
my God.
arena is
Why?
not done in time.
Really?
Oh.
So they will
Oh,
be playing
no.
their first 3 games
Oh,
at
no.
the BMO Harris Bradley.
We're
I'm
going
crying right now. Actually,
free tickets to
Chief.
everyone who's
Get
watching
him
the
a
pod.
crying towel.
I applied for a job there, and I never heard back from them, so.
I also applied for a job there.
You might
Yeah.
have just lost a fan then too.
Yeah, well, I'm never going to go to a game there.
They
so
never
I'll
called you
run that.
back. They didn't even give him the common courtesy to call you back. Wrong.
I would have worked for free.
Wrong. Yeah,
But
come
no.
on. Wrong.
I was
I would
kind
have
of
worked for
sad when they
44
got rid
cents
of
an hour.
Bronson Casey.
44 cents an hour I would
Let's
have
go
worked.
back the other way along our
Minimum.
snake table here, and let's talk about
Kevin Durant's
Rookie
like the
of the Year. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year at the same time. McCoy, did you hear that?
Defensive player of the year is.
How many predictions are we?
There's literally only
Dude, we
2
gotta
people.
predict 'em
There's
all.
literally 2 or 3 people
Okay.
that you can even consider.
Okay, Rookie of the Year, McCoy, who's your Rookie of the Year? We could probably move that table.
I got mine.
Actually,
I
we
got
definitely
mine.
can.
Yeah, put me up there for Lonzo too.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, he does have full range to do anything he wants in
That's fair.
LA this year.
His dad's LeVar Ball.
He-
His dad's
Magic
LeVar
basically
Ball.
gave him the keys and said, "Here, do whatever you want."
Yep.
Basically.
Okay, I'm gonna go with there's a lot of very good rookies this year.
I would say yeah.
A lot of very good point guards.
I would
Dennis
say yes.
Smith, De'Aaron Fox, Lonzo.
Bogdan.
But I'm gonna
Bogdanovic.
go with Jason Tatum.
No.
You don't have to agree to me.
Probably not.
But that's my prediction, and I'm sticking with it. Cheeky boy.
I'm gonna have to go with Ben Simmons.
Really, you think so?
Why would you do that?
I would say not
My
true.
God.
Trust the process. Is Markelle Fultz even gonna play this year?
He's already hurt. Markelle is. They should probably sit him for the entire year. Yeah. They should probably sit him for the entire year,
He
and
sprained
then,
his ankle. He's got.
and then
miss
they're gonna
every
trade him
6
to the
months.
Bucks, and then he's never gonna play. Like.
Okay.
Olaf, did you say Lonzo? Is that you that said Lonzo, or is that?
I want to say Lonzo.
All right.
Give him some time. Give him a little bit more time here, and the talk
I mean-
will be backed up with.
He has a lot of pressure on him, you know.
Because of his
His
dad.
dad hyped him up.
Yep.
So
The hype is the hype real though?
I mean,
no, the
it's,
hype is real.
It is.
Oh.
it's not
well,
that
then it's
Lonzo
fine.
hasn't been playing good. It's just that he hasn't played to the hype that everyone has had him to.
It's been
because
2
of his
weeks. It'll be
dad.
fine.
Right, like Alonzo, he's not putting up the numbers, but he's averaging decent numbers for a rookie.
Then you'll have LeBron with him next year in LA.
Fair.
Already.
LeBronzo.
NPG.
Yeah, exactly.
And
the
Westbrook
shirts. Print
and
the shirts
Carmelo.
right now. LeBronzo.
They're already printed.
I didn't coin that term. That was from like the Herd or something, I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair.
Dorn's
But
going
I'll
for
take credit for
Lonzo.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't
I'm
fact
good
check
at
here,
that.
so
I can see it in his
I'm taking
eyes.
credit for it.
Yep.
I came up with that.
Let's make shirts right now.
Probably.
Rookie, I'm just gonna sit here and look at some stats for a second here.
Oh,
I
look at
would
this
I would
guy.
also I would go with Lonzo Ball as well.
That's
Oh.
right.
If you look at the rookies that are playing, Lonzo and Ben Simmons are just playing so much more than all the other rookies. They're both playing 35 minutes a game, and then you got the rest of the rookies playing 25, 20, 19. They're getting, like I said, more opportunities. They're just running the show.
We're skipping defense because nobody cares.
Draymond Green.
Okay, can we all say Draymond Green?
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard.
Nope,
Yep,
nope,
done.
nope.
I don't even care.
Cut
There's
his
only
mic.
3 picks. It's
Cut his
DeAndre, Draymond, or Kawhi.
No,
one
but I
else.
actually don't
Rudy
care
Gobert.
though.
Cut his mic.
Rudy Gobert.
Giannis.
Giannis, no.
Antetokounmpo.
Why would you say that?
Okay, how many
Defensive
blocks
player.
how many blocks and steals would Giannis have to average to get defensive player of the year?
2 and 2.
Did
At
you not
least 2
see
and
him
2.
block Carmelo
5.
Anthony last night?
About 9.
He's probably gonna have to average like a quintuple double.
Yes.
The NBA title I know it's
Cavaliers.
it's like 10 months away, but
Who cares though?
Brennan, you
Cavaliers.
say Cavs?
Oh yeah.
Cheeks.
With the amount of players they got, that's pretty. Yeah.
That's your name.
But
Cheeks, you want to turn around and show the camera that?
No, I don't know what's on it. It could be
It
It says Cheeks. I'm saying that. Trust the process.
we're trusting it.
Okay, hey.
Finals picks.
Right.
Cavs.
By Brennan.
Oh, we're not
Dude, they got key players.
They've lost
They
by
got-
20 in
So
all
are we
games
just
they've
saying
lost.
title winner or who they
Who
beat?
cares?
Yeah, we're
They
just
lost
gonna
to the
say
Knicks by
Just who
20.
wins?
Oh wait.
So
Olaf,
what?
did
It's
you
the
say
beginning
yours?
of the season.
Thank you.
Olaf,
We
did
have
you say
10
yours?
months.
Yeah.
Olaf, what was your prediction?
I'm going, I know, so bandwagon-esque, but we're going to go with let's go 3 in a row. Let's go have Warriors and Cavs again. Warriors
4 in a row.
Oh, 4 in a row.
It
My
would be
God.
4.
That would be
Yeah.
4. Let's
It
go
is
4 in a row. That's
Yep.
what the people want.
Warriors are 2-1.
Wait, you want the Warriors to win?
Yep, Warriors. I know they haven't had the best start
If it does
either,
get-
but again, we're a
Yeah.
couple weeks in. It's
If it
going to
gets
be
to a
fine.
finals rematch, the Cavs get swept this year.
Yeah.
Cavs get swept. There's no way they win a game.
The chemistry needs to gel.
Yeah. Is that what you think, Mr. Dorn?
That's a promise.
My pick
That
for. Wait, no, Dorn, you have to say yours. My bad. Putting you on the spot.
I don't know who this is
Your
going to be.
turn.
Okay,
Like, you know
first
the
off,
order
I'm
we
going to
go.
say the Warriors beat the Thunder in 7 to get to the finals.
okay.
That's next level.
Yeah,
And then the Warriors play the Bucks and beat them in 7.
Wow. Nice.
So you're also
wow,
going
that
with
is
the Golden
really
State
bold
Warriors.
right there.
Yeah, bold prediction.
is-
Oh,
Bold.
you want to hear this
Uh,
bold
yeah, on the
prediction?
board. Yeah, I'm ready.
I want to hear it.
The Twin Towers of the Bayou, the New Orleans Pelicans, will win it all. Hey, get this. Hey, Rondo comes back, played solid for Boston.
He is actually a really good point guard.
Yeah, he's
That's-
coming back.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, imagine Boogie,
Oh, Boogie.
Anthony Davis, Rondo. They sign somebody. They just sign somebody.
Steve Blake.
Right. They hire Phil Jackson as the coach. They run the triangle with those three.
Yes.
They literally probably gonna go. They're probably gonna win every game.
I mean, Boogie was Nielsen's guy, so it comes back to the original.
Okay, if the mayor of New Orleans is listening to me, hire Phil Jackson. That's how it works, right? Like it's
Yeah,
looks
that's,
like the
that's
city.
it. That's all you have to
Okay.
say.
Hire Phil
It's
Jackson.
already
Run the
set.
triangle
It's
with
already
Rondo.
happening right now as we speak.
Yep. I mean, you probably should. Okay, that's my prediction, Pelicans.
Cheeks, what do you got
Fear the deer.
Oh my
The
god.
Bucks
Why would you
win
say that?
against the Houston
in
Rockets?
6 games against the OKC Thunder.
I can respect that.
Why would you say something like that?
I bet I'm right.
Okay, let's bet.
That's loud. Sorry, audience.
And I just saw on Twitter,
What'd you
John
say?
Henson
What'd
is
you
starting
say?
tonight for the Bucks.
First of all, why and
Do I
why
care?
not Maker?
I just saw
Thon
John
Maker is
Henson
the
is
GOAT.
starting.
Thon Maker, mark my words, within the next 15 years, he will be a 4-time MVP.
4-time MVP. Thon Maker. Yeah.
Thon,
He's gonna break
three-point
the NBA.
maker. Listen, look at the man. He looks like he could be
McCoy.
57.
Ooh, McCoy did
McCoy said
Celtics.
Boston.
Oh, wow.
McCoy said Celtics.
Wow. Say that won't happen.
I'm gonna say.
I mean, if
will
they get
not
Gordon
happen.
Hayward back, maybe, but...
I'm gonna say he's definitely out for the season.
before Christmas.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I think he's starting tonight, actually.
He's coming back before Christmas.
That's what he
Yep.
said.
The
Okay,
Bucks will pull off the waiver wire of the year and sign Kobe Bryant to a 1-year deal.
And Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett was
Brian
drafted in the
Scalabrine.
fantasy league.
Bring Wilt the Stilt back from the dead. Let's make it all over the top.
Kareem.
Hey, don't tell me Bill Russell can't still average 20 rebounds. a
Yeah,
game.
are you kidding me?
We're bringing
It's
back
done.
Pistol Pete from the den. He's gonna
Oh, yeah.
average.
Yes, bang. Yes. Bang.
In a twist of events, Michael Jordan's going to sign with the team. The Lakers are going to make the finals, and MJ is going to destroy him.
Yes.
Lonzo and MJ.
It's what the people
And the
want.
Lakers are going to sign LeBron to
MJ's
a
gonna
10-day
need
contract for the
MJ's
finals.
team's gonna have to sign Pippen too, because MJ can't win without him.
Oh.
So.
You might as well just bring Rodman then.
Jason Kidd will suit up for the Milwaukee
Horace
Bucks
Grant.
Right.
and take them
And
to
then
the
you might as well
finals.
bring John Paxson.
What?
Okay.
What?
Jason Kidd will
Why?
suit up for the Bucks
Stop.
and take them to the finals.
That'd be insane.
Cheeks, what are you saying?
Why are you talking?
All right. Okay, ours. Okay, we're going to move into
spitting
a very serious topic
I'm
here.
sorry.
Are we on count?
College football.
Oh, I don't even know.
Rigged.
I don't even know.
No, we're not predicting. We're not predicting.
College football is not rigged.
We're not going to predict.
Well, the college
We are going to
football
predict, but we're
playoff
not
is
going to put it on the
rigged.
board because it's college and they don't get paid.
Right.
Wow. They don't get paid.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so last night, the college football playoff ranking
Committee.
committee of football released
From college.
I thought it was going to be curling there for a second.
released
You got a big
released
there.
their official rankings, which don't really mean anything at all, actually, because there's still like 5 games left, but it's still a good insight into how they view things currently. Let's just run through it. McCoy, you got it up right now?
I could tell you.
It's right there on your screen. I can see. Okay. Yeah, we'll just wait for Dorn to do it.
Number 1,
Georgia.
Georgia. Number 2, Alabama.
Yeah.
Number 3, Notre Dame. Number 4, Clemson. Number 5,
Yeah, do the
Oklahoma.
top 9.
Number 6, Ohio State. Number 7, Penn State. Number 8, TCU. Number 9, on Wisconsin. Number 10, Miami.
All right.
Badgers.
Hey, Michigan State's
where-
24th for all you.
Where
I
is
see,
CW Pipe on that list?
Yeah, where is you, Dorn?
I think you need to refresh.
Michigan State is
McCoy.
24th.
Just refresh it a couple times.
Yeah, I think that'll show up. Just give it a couple.
Do the Badgers play Michigan State this year?
No.
Nope.
They play
They
Michigan.
won the
though.
Big
played
Ten
the Michigan.
championship.
Dude, Michigan State's definitely not making the Big
No.
Ten
Bet.
championship.
Bet.
No.
I will bet.
Michigan State's not going to lose another game.
And they still won't make the Big Ten championship.
How will they not make it?
Because that's not how the world works.
How do you mean?
It's
They
gonna
beat
be
Michigan.
Penn-
They beat
It's
Michigan.
going to be Penn State, Wisconsin.
Penn State's garbage. They
Okay.
lost to Ohio State.
Yeah, that's probably not true.
That's not true at all. That was an in-the-moment statement.
So, there's 2 teams I feel are pretty low in the rankings, I would say. And by low, I mean high, as in the number that they are.
Right.
Well,
As in, like, the number's bigger than the other numbers.
Oh.
Number 9, Wisconsin, is
Oh.
currently undefeated. I get it.
I
I
do
get
agree.
it.
No, I agree though.
That they have a
They're-
pretty bad
they're-
schedule.
they're
Their
literally
schedule's
playing-
pretty bad.
Yeah,
As
they
in
have
bad, I
like
mean,
the
it's like bad
competition.
teams.
They're
The
playing
competition's
teams
bad.
with Cleveland Browns talent. Come on.
But they're still undefeated though.
They are undefeated.
A 9 as you're undefeated? That's
And-
kind of
Okay,
disrespectful.
I know if you just look at the scores on their face value, you see, oh, they only won by like 3 touchdowns. That's not even that much. Like, they're not even that good of a team. But if you watch the games, like, they're never really that close. Like, they're blowing them out from the opening whistle.
yeah.
Well, I remember last year Washington had the same situation, and they were always like right in it. They were 4, 5, 6. But
Right.
and I really think this college football playoff needs to get like fixed.
Do you
Why don't we
think?
just have the tournament with like
Hey.
the top 10 teams?
Bet. Michigan State plays Penn State. That's a win for Michigan State.
But do you think that reforms should be made to the playoff system,
I
and
do not.
how? What type
I do
of
not.
reforms would be made?
I do not think there should be reforms.
Do you think another week should be added with a second round?
Ooh.
Like a third round, I mean, because there already is 2 rounds technically.
Mm.
As in like 8 teams on both
What's
sides.
it gonna do? Nothing really.
I mean,
4 teams
yeah,
on both
the
sides.
NFL, the
I mean-
NFL's losing all its viewers for college, so.
What are you saying?
That's
Where, huh?
not true.
Well, the NFL viewers are going down.
Fake
Oh my
news.
What are you going on
They
about?
went, they went from like 98
This is
billion
fake.
to like 97.5
My only
billion.
I say that you
See
move
that?
in the rankings. I say you move Wisconsin to 8 ahead of TCU. That's about it. 6.
Mm.
You put them in front of Penn State
Yes.
Yeah.
and Ohio
Oh,
State.
Hey,
Ohio
guess
State's
who's
the
lost
big
and guess who
guy.
hasn't lost?
Oh, so you're moving? Are you moving Oklahoma up and Clemson down because Clemson's
Can
garbage?
we go back to these?
All right.
I was going to say at least, you know, the reform thing, maybe we talked about this last year at some point. I don't see it happening because then it's always, okay, then why didn't, you know, if you go to 12 or 8, then why did 9 or 10, why don't they get to get in? You know, you're going to keep having that argument. You might as well go NCAA March Madness style for college football. Just go 64, get a couple
That's a
play-in
little
games, and
too
just go.
much.
You got winter break for the college kids. What are they going to miss? I mean, what the heck? Whoa. Whoa. We don't promote that. We don't.
Halloween was yesterday.
That was spooky.
Wow. Anyways.
Too spooky for me.
Anyways. But I don't know.
Wings tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going.
Oh, wings tonight. Okay,
Anyways.
we're not done with the show, though.
But I was going to say, like, as much as I would think they should move up, and this is their best, at least overall, record to this point since, like, '04. It's been a while. The committee, what they look at is going to be more strength of schedule. It reminds you, at least, of thinking about, high school football, some of the rankings that came out for us and what we were looking at, and it was more based on just the record and not necessarily who some of these high school teams are going up against in the state. Where, hey, if that was the case, then the Badgers would be higher, but we've seen this in the committee the last couple of years. The strength of schedule is huge.
Yeah.
And we don't have that. Michigan, maybe you finally have a ranked team if they stay around on that front.
And Iowa's decent.
Yeah.
Michigan is no longer
But as of right now,
Okay.
the best team they played is what, Purdue?
Yeah, that's not really that good.
Right.
So, I mean, they'd have to run the table and then, be in the Big Ten championship game and beat whoever is going to come out of the
Michigan
East. And maybe they have a chance, but I could still see them missing that as well. I mean, there was that danger last year. Did Penn State make it, or did they miss it last year?
Penn State missed it.
Wait,
Yeah, so it could be the same kind of thing with the Badgers. They could possibly, I don't know how, based on their offense, I don't think they can go up against some of the, if they were talking Penn State, Ohio State, but if they went out, I could still see that kind of scenario where they would also miss, like Penn State did, making the college football playoff.
I'm just gonna say, if Wisconsin wins out and they don't get in, that would start something.
That'd probably start. Yeah.
Because
They-
I
they'd
would
probably
say,
have to make
if you're gonna have a team that's
that.
undefeated and you don't give them at least the 4,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they were
Oh, a
giving
Power
compared
Five
most.
conference.
I
champion.
would say even if they do go undefeated, they're still a 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're still a 4.
If an undefeated Power 5 conference champion doesn't make the playoffs, I'm pretty sure the system is rigged.
they would
pretty
give
sure it's
Wisconsin a
rigged.
4 though. Even if the other teams are 1 loss, they're not ahead of an Alabama.
True.
Yeah. Okay.
If,
I have a
say,
question for you
Wisconsin
guys,
beats a
actually.
Penn
What's your
State or
question?
Ohio State in a
Is-
Big Ten
Is
championship.
Penn State
Oh, yeah.
eligible for the playoffs because of that thing they had with Jerry Sandusky? Is that still going on?
Dude, I'm pretty sure that was like 5 years ago.
They
I didn't know how long it was.
They are
yet.
eligible.
Yep.
That happened like 2012.
That is why they're currently in.
Yeah.
The
If they weren't
situation
eligible, they
to
won't be
be-
ranked at all.
That's fair.
Right,
Fair
so-
point.
Even though
Use your brain.
was Louisville ranked in the college basketball thing, even though they were out of the Big Dance?
No.
They weren't last year.
Yeah, they might have been. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they were ranked, but I don't think they made the Big Dance.
Fantasy team.
This is broke. It's not broke. It's just out of the.
Nye, where are you?
Yeah, where's Nye?
Where's we miss you, Nye.
Rip Nye. This is a dedication.
An interesting
Nye.
game though this weekend is Michigan State versus Penn State.
That is a huge game.
Penn State's going to roll over them.
Not even gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Guaranteed
Penn-
Michigan State
Penn
wins.
State's running backs with tears.
Pretty sure
Yeah,
Penn State-
Wallace is
Guaranteed
running
Michigan
for
State wins.
300. Wallace is running for 400.
Okay, pretty sure.
Why are you throwing things, cheeks?
Okay. Yeah,
Challenge
we'll
that.
talk about something on screen.
Where's the red flag?
That's enough.
Brandon,
That's
talk about
enough.
college football.
I don't know anything about college football. I stay out of college sports.
Is that because they don't get paid?
That's because they don't get paid. No, yeah.
But let me just throw this out here. Michigan State plays Penn State and Ohio State back to back.
Badgers.
If they win both of those games, Michigan State's the best team in college football.
Isaac, are you getting it?
Yeah, Isaac Burns currently fixing my mic.
This is our man, Isaac Byrne here.
What
He's
a
not on
legend.
camera. You're the only
He's
one on
normally
camera
behind the
right now.
scenes.
He's a behind-the-scenes guy.
Get over
MVP.
here, Isaac. I don't think you've been on camera yet.
Yeah, it's your time to shine.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Okay, W Pipe will be in the college
Thanks,
football playoff.
Cheeks, can you please stop talking?
shut your mouth. Right now. Done.
Okay, Florida State is definitely going to be in the college football playoffs.
Florida State has had a rough season. They have had a rough
What
season.
are they, like 0-4 at home?
They lose their starting quarterback, and then everything just goes off the rails.
Well,
Shows the importance.
let's talk about
Right.
let's talk about things that have stayed on the rails.
Alabama. Just steamrolling everyone.
Wisconsin's running back situation
Wow.
has been very on the rails the past
Hey,
like 7 years.
am I
With
right when I
Monte Ball
say?
and then Melvin Gordon, and now it's Mr. Jonathan Taylor.
Hold on though. Am I right
Okay.
on Saquon Barkley is considered in the Heisman race?
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor has more touchdowns and yards.
Yeah, but he plays in Wisconsin, and
Right,
Jon-
and he hasn't
and,
played a team yet. No, it doesn't matter
And
that he has over
Saquon
1,000
Barkley
yards.
plays in Pennsylvania, and he gets all the credit for being. He wears blue, and Jonathan wears red, and nobody likes red anymore.
My coach does this
Right.
to our players.
Shout out to Lonzo Ball.
What do you think when you see the color red? What do you think?
Aggression.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
And Saquon's
How
wearing.
does that make you feel? How does that make you feel?
I feel like I need my coach.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a Sandusky joke.
And I supported that joke.
You all laughed. Okay, but Jonathan Taylor, he should definitely be in the Heisman race, if not the clear front runner.
I would say because Baker Mayfield hasn't done anything.
Yeah, and he's still in the Heisman race. Like, why at all?
And Saquon Barkley's been held under 100 yards in all but 3 games this year.
And Jonathan Taylor averages like 200 yards a game.
So
That's pretty good.
facts.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good right there.
Yeah, he cannot be contained, and he's going to win the Heisman.
How about do we give it to a defensive player,
How about we do, like Charles Woodson?
Oh, we don't do that.
like a Wisconsin linebacker?
I'm up for not doing
TJ
that.
Watt, coming back from the Steelers.
From the
Why is this even a discussion?
He's a fifth year. No. He comes back.
That'd be insane.
And J.J. Watt from his torn ACL.
Okay,
Cheeks, do you not understand things?
next week, we will have a huge, mega college basketball prediction.
Oh, yeah.
And then we will do a big review on not only the football season, our New Holstein Huskies football season, but also the volleyball season and the cross-country season, which we will learn
And
about.
the soccer season.
And there's
we
a men's
going
soccer
And the
season.
upcoming
Are we going to predict the
basketball.
whole,
Dude, we're gonna predict everything for college basketball.
the
unless,
whole
like,
March Madness bracket? We are going to predict it all.
Oh, yeah,
64
let's do it.
Oh my God!
Rinse
yeah.
them out, Cheeks. We're not
some
gonna
out,
do that.
Cheeks.
We're not even going to think about doing
Okay.
that at all.
I thought about
So-
it, actually.
No, there's no Tommy time this week. Tommy time will.
Tommy time. We need some
Tommy time will. Tommy time will be.
Parking pass. Parking pass.
Look at that parking pass. That's our president.
That's our president, Donald Trump, right there.
Yep, it sure is.
Shout out. Shout out. At the real Donald Trump.
I actually don't have anything for Tommy time, but next week I will. So you should tune in next week at the same time, the same place that you're listening right now.
It's going to be fabulous.
Lit.
YouTube. And,
Look out for the Politicast.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look out for the Politicast. If that ever
Podcast
gets
is
back.
making a comeback this year.
Yeah,
Just
probably
made a bold
not.
statement right
Maybe.
there, huh?
Wow,
It
yeah.
probably maybe is.
Yeah, it
Okay,
probably
tune
is.
in, same time, same place. Thank you to the behind the scenes guys. I will learn your names eventually.
Thank you to all our viewers.
I know.
My
Isaac,
brother's one of them.
Michael.
Oh.
That's a roll of tape. Okay, see you next week. Good night.
Wanna get right?